Appreciate it. Appreciate you.
Phones on silent.
Yeah, because it's always fun to just have conversations with people. You know what I mean? Like a lot of times you get into these interviews and it just seems so maybe on my best behavior.
Oh
like,
yeah, no. That's during election season. We're done with that one. We're done with that one. That's right.
We
We're
done
having
with
fun.
that one.
This is about the kids.
Yeah, you know what's so crazy though? I don't know if you know, like, I'm always out here in these clubs, and like, I don't know if you've seen, I'm very cool with a lot of.
They already told me walking in here.
Yeah, there's, what I mean, and there's, there's a lot of square brothers that I know, a lot of that are like that, and then but when it comes to the kids and things like this, I've always thought it's cool.
Oh yeah.
That when I see people in political positions or police positions, when they're doing things like this in the community or for the community, I think it's a bigger deal than when the rappers do it, because this is not always broadcast. Right. That sheriff is you got some free backpacks and food. Oh, now you have become cool,
right? Just
because, hey, bro, here you go.
Yeah.
Because you kind of, when you see rappers do like Thanksgiving turkey giveaways or back to school, you hear a bunch of that.
Right. And they have a different level of resources to do it.
Right.
And so, for instance, we just gave away 400 bikes, free helmets, bikes, and did riding lessons for kids. But it was the sheriff's office employees that came together to donate those bikes.
Right.
And so those kinds of things, it's just where we are. We're closing the gap.
It's so funny. I feel weird. I feel like I have to address you. How would you like me to address? Is it Sheriff Pat?
I'm good.
Is it sir? Is it like?
I'm good. I'm from here, so
he's like, don't get it.
Yeah, I'm from here.
He's like, hey man, calm all that down, bro. This is
no, we're good.
This is my career. Good. Don't get it. I ain't good. Your Highness.
Right. No.
So, are you excited about this Saturday though? It's at 10 a.m. right?
I am. I'm really excited. I love to see the kids. Opportunity for us to continue to build these bridges in terms of law enforcement and the community.
Yeah.
Opportunity for us to give back. So I'm excited.
Was that part of your campaign deal? Was like, listen, I know we got a job to do, but we're people.
And like, you're absolutely right. Part of that becomes, you hear about this whole school to prison pipeline, and so we've been very intentional about really focusing on kids. We do a carpool every other Friday. We do a carpool Friday.
Right.
And so our deputies go to the elementary schools and get kids out of the cars, off the buses, walk them to class. So their first encounter with law enforcement is not a negative one.
Right. It's just simply like, hey, Officer so-and-so is cool.
Right.
And I don't know if this is intentional. And maybe it's just because I've been in this game for so long. I've been on the radio in the Atlanta market for over 15 years.
Absolutely.
So people just know me, you know what I'm saying? But it just feels like that when I go to these events or these clubs, it's just the homies with the badge on. Hey, what's up, bro? What's going on? Oh yeah, I went to the car show. We're not even looking at it like that's the authority now. It's kind of like, hey, we have a job to do, but at the same time, bro, we like to bark. You know what I mean? They feel different. They communicate differently.
And we want to do that. We want to be in a space where we break down those barriers around us and them. Mm-hmm. It's like you said, right? I'm from here,
right?
So
how.
Hey, look, Frederick Douglass High School to Clark Atlanta University. What else can you ask for? Right? And so to that extent, it used to be. When I was a young officer, it used to be going in on a Friday night. Mm-hmm. It was like class reunion. So everybody was locked up, right?
Yeah.
And everybody from my class, at least.
You're right.
And so to that extent, it is now, how do we engage the community? How do we build trust?
Right.
Or rebuild trust in many instances. And so we're way ahead of the game.
And for Saturday, where are we at for? I know it starts at 10 a.m. and it's at the YMCA, but is that the Carver?
The Village is a Carver.
Okay.
Right. And so again, what a wonderful opportunity for us as a community. But look at what the YMCA has done for that Carver community. Right. And so we're there. We'll give away more than 1,000 backpacks and school supplies. And so it's just an opportunity for us to last year we did almost 1,200. So I'm stretching, and I want to get closer to 1,500 this year. But again, we encourage people to come early, register early. We want you to register. We're not turning anybody away. Right. But ultimately, we'll have fun, food. We'll have games. Last year we had horses. I can't promise you we'll have horses. And then last year we also had a dunk tank.
I know you expected that, but go ahead.
So no, I got in the dunk tank last year.
Really?
They told me this year we weren't doing a dunk tank.
Okay.
So at least I'm safe from that perspective. Right. So, but I'm excited about this.
Yeah, it does feel a lot different in the city, especially from the law enforcement. I just really want to say that it just seems that the perspective now is what's going on over here versus I'm just gonna do my job. You know what I mean? And that's more appreciated. It doesn't mean get away with everything. It just means like, hey, well, hold on. Like before we react because of this, let's just see what's happening before. And I appreciate the way that they talk and confront, and we laugh now. It's like that presence is a lot better, and I appreciate that in the city. And doing events like this on Saturday where you're giving back, is it possible? I know it's last minute, but can anyone last minute say, yo, I got extra $500 if you want to get some extra backpacks?
Absolutely.
Okay,
absolutely.
So what do we do?
We're not turning anything down but our collar, right? So we encourage people, one, to come out.
Right.
So we do gift cards. We'll have our entire community engagement team out. And so they've been very intentional about whether they go to get additional resources, those kinds of things.
Yeah.
You can always find us at fcsoga.org and really focus in on send us an email. It's not too late. Send us an email. I'll leave you with my chief of staff's information. So
Please.
if one of your listeners, someone reaches out to you and really wants to get engaged, we can actually get them directly hooked up with our team.
I would need that because what I'm going to do is, especially for the next couple of days, because it's Saturday, but you'd be surprised how many people would like. Because one great thing that radio has been for the last 20 years is it's never been local. Everything that we do is streamed around the world. That's how come these other shows that you guys have seen or heard of, like maybe The Breakfast Club or Big Boy or whatever, it's because you can stream them around the world. And it's been that way for almost 20 years now. So like nothing about radio is local. So people flying to town, they might see this or hear this and like, yo, I'm coming into town this week. I want to drop $100 on whatever, you know what I mean? Or we know artists are always fun. Atlanta's a party city, so it's definitely
gotta have it.
Gotta have it, you know what I mean? So they want to put that money someplace sometimes, you know what I mean?
All your listeners, all your supporters, anyone who wants to give, we'll make sure you have the direct information, direct contact. We have some great sponsors.
Yeah.
A Second Chance Bonding Company, Keith Group, IC Solutions, and the list goes on, right? Our bail bonding company's first choice have really stepped up to understand that if you're going to do business with the county, you have to be in a position to give back to our community.
Right.
And so they've been very thoughtful about that. The Fulton County Sheriff's Foundation. So there are a number of ways to give. And so we'll make sure you have that information.
Mike Page, what's up, bro? I see you out there, homie. Yeah, I always see him over there at the Whole Foods working. Anyway, that's my dog. But anyway, but I'm so glad we're really doing this, man. And has any other artists in the industry reached out to be a part of this so far, or is it just so far this is what you guys are focusing on?
Well, this is our third annual,
right?
So we've been very intentional and very thoughtful about making sure that this is really kind of the Fulton County Sheriff's project. And so again, we're not turning down any help. But we have over the years, we've had Shaquille O'Neal, his team come in, help us out. The YMCA has been a huge supporter of making sure, again, making that connection and really focusing on that. So, again, this is just, we're not turning any help down.
Right.
So if any of your artists come in, any of the people that want to be a part of this, we want them to help.
Right. And do you plan on doing anything else after this in your political career?
Good question. Good question. So first, let me say thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you to the Fulton County community as a whole. As you know, we had 4 or 5 people and I'm sure people look at you and say, well, this is easy for you because you've been doing it for so long. And I tell people we make it look easy, but it's really a tough job. And so I'm blessed in as much as got reelected without a runoff.
Right.
And so I still remind people we got to go vote.
Yes.
Got to go vote November 5th. And that is our civic responsibility as well as...
I have a very ratchet way of looking at voting, but it always works when I explain it to people.
Well, I got it. So if you're in Fulton County, I still need you to go vote for me, right? Because I'll be on the ballot. Ultimately, we're going to do these 4 years. We're going to reassess as we continue. And who knows? So I'm focused on our Fulton County, really from a law enforcement perspective, but there are opportunities out there.
Have you noticed, this is like a political question, but have you noticed that maybe some of the things you thought of that you thought were right before, and then you, as you've gotten maybe more educated or older, you go, I had that wrong. Let me just, I don't see a lot of people admitting in the politics, like, you know what, bro, I got that wrong, but we're going to get it right.
And
that it's like, what's so wrong with saying that? I don't know if that's a thing.
And so I tell people, right, we have been doing things wrong for so long, we think what we're doing is right.
Yeah.
And so when you get into not just politics, but you get into law enforcement, you get into an environment where sometimes you do have to step back. And so many people get desensitized to what we're doing, that I wouldn't say I was wrong as much as I've taken a different stance on how we can help people. And so when you look at when we came in as an administration in 2021, 1/1/21, we had 3,700 people in prison, in jail, and 600 of them sleeping on the floor. And so we had to be very, very thoughtful about our approach. How do we keep our community safe? And at the same time, how do we get people off the floor and treat them like they're human?
Right.
And so it really came down to sheer numbers. It came down to the court system, came down to the fact that there were more people that had spent more time in jail because the system is clogged up than had they admitted or had they pled guilty, gotten sentenced, done their time, they still would have been out earlier. And so what we do, for instance, with our misdemeanors, we look at it, how long they've been in jail, make a decision. We created what's called an inmate advocacy unit.
Right.
That unit focuses on what the detainees needs. And matter of fact, we don't even call them detainees anymore. We call them residents, right? Because there's a connotation that comes with inmates, detainees, et cetera. And most people didn't ask to be there. Now, it doesn't mean they didn't get caught.
I understand what you're saying.
And so to that extent, we're very thoughtful about the approach. And so, and I'll give you a good example. We went through, and because it's a jail now, we got to do shakedowns.
I get what you're saying. Listen,
security protocols, and so we go through, do a huge shakedown. We find 4 individuals that had $100 bonds, and I don't mean $1,000 and 10% of that $100.
You mean actually $100?
$100.
It's like, come on, bro.
We let them go.
Right.
Right. Now these are nonviolent individuals.
Of course,
right?
of course.
And so it may be a property crime, maybe this, but they had spent more time in jail that had they pled guilty or had been sentenced than they would have on their original charge.
Tell me what you think it is. As I've gotten, I got on the game in this entertainment industry so young as a kid, and I used to have these broad stroke perspectives of life, right? Just, it's all this is that, all this is this. And as I've sat back and life has smacked me a few times, I realized that almost everything in life is situational, and only some things in life are broad stroked. You know what I mean? And which makes it difficult to deal with, I would think, for a person in your position, because you're tasked with dealing with the large majority of a county, right? To have a broad stroke perspective or plan when life is literally situational. How do you balance that?
So, and I'm sure you've done this, right? Situation by situation.
Yes.
Right?
Which makes it tasking.
It makes it tasking.
Yeah.
But as my mama say, you asked for this job, right?
Yeah, okay.
And then you beg people to vote for you. So let's be clear.
Yes, be
right?
clear, yeah.
And so I don't complain about it. I just understand that we have a really good team. I'm so proud of the women and men of the Fulton County Sheriff's Office, because they come in this situation day in and day out. They run towards danger when most people run away from it. And so we take those situations moment by moment. I tell people all the time, don't miss a moment. Don't miss a moment to do your job, and don't miss a moment to say thank you. And so in that space, to your point, there are broad brushes where people misconstrue what that brush should look like or what it should cover. And so when we can take it moment by moment and really understand, or try and understand, because a lot of times we don't understand until one of our loved ones are in that situation.
When it hits home.
And then the other piece is, keep in mind, when I said we had 3,700 individuals that were incarcerated, that also means there's a potential to have 3,700 victims.
Right.
And so we too have a job to protect our victims.
Yeah.
And so that broad brush it really creates a balance, or it really brings you back level when you understand that at one point we had 547 people charged with murder. We had 1,100 people charged with aggravated assault. And we had another couple hundred people charged with rape. And so when you come from a community that as close-knit, the fabric of Atlanta proper in Fulton County, you want to protect those individuals.
I've always said that lack of knowledge in anything will lead to destruction of community.
Absolutely.
And it could be about anything. It doesn't have to always be a major knowledge. It could be about knowledge about banking, insurance, how to life. What happens when this happens to you? How do I get over this hump? When you don't know how the tools, you tend to turn to self-destruction or destruction of others.
You absolutely do. And it is one of those things where we, as a people, as a culture, have to not be afraid to ask why. And here's the other piece, and I tell people all the time, and this is why I love this conversation, is
told you.
If you can if you can stand the answer,
yes,
I can stand the question.
Yes.
And so
yeah,
that means that we're at least having a conversation.
There has to be a conversation about certain things because I learned from a lot of my brothers is just like, listen, bro, you're not going to build a pyramid by yourself, bro.
That's it.
There's never been in the history of anything, be it a queen or a king or whatever, where they just woke up one day and it just happened. They just did it. We figured it out all on our own. There's never such a thing as on our own. So by you saying you rely on your team and you saying, okay, let me remind you guys, we need to look at things a little differently. It's very situational here. It's very tasking. But like you said, like your mother said, you picked this job.
Not only that, and you really bring up a good point when you talk about how you look at things. And I remind people, how a situation looks depends on the lens that you look through.
Right.
All right. And where you are, if you are part of the conversation, if you are invited to dinner, or if you're on the menu.
Oh, it's the same thing when people sit there and say, it's like you ever see fans in the stands at a game?
Yep.
And why would you call that play? Are you on the field?
Absolutely. Absolutely. How you miss that ball, right?
Right. You're not even in the game, but you complaining on the sideline.
At all. And so people feel like because they have voted or because they paid money to get a ticket to go to that game, that they have the right to be mean. And that's the piece that gets me. It's one thing to have a conversation. It's another thing to offer your opinion. And, of course, when we get some of that liquid courage in us,
expectation of your selfish outcome will lead to a lot of destruction.
I love it. You're absolutely right. Yeah. So I will, if you hear that again, I'll give you credit the first time.
Tell him E.T. said.
That's right. After that.
Expectation of your selfish outcome will lead to your destruction.
Absolutely.
And it's the truth. It's because a lot of that time, we all learn things of that nature. But a lot of the times, the reason why I'm extending this conversation a lot longer is because we don't get to hear our people in our political platforms talk and just be like, yo, bro, I'm from here, bro. Douglas, like, CAU, like, I went to them parties.
That's it.
I get it.
That's what took me so long to get out of club.
Yeah, bro, I feel you. Bro, them girls in Atlanta, boy. I'm telling you. Yeah. I'm still out here hosting these parties. Your boy know.
I know. He told me on the way over.
He's like, man, E.T., man, E.T.
He told me. The Lord help us all.
Yeah, that's my guy, bro. That's Alden, my guy. I deal with him, a lot of the APD as well, and then Mike Page, my dude. Me and him been friends for years because he was part of the music industry before he got into the, So Sheriff Page, what's up? What's up to you, brother, out there? But yeah, man, it's good to hear this. So Saturday, we're gonna be there. Let's get back to the YMCA.
I love it.
We'll be there at 10 a.m.
10 a.m.
10 a.m. Everyone's invited. Come through. If you got some extra help, you got some extra stuff, we want. Can they? We
want it all. Bring it that day.
Bring it that day.
Bring it that day.
I just want to make sure because I don't want to put it out there and y'all get a swamp of like, oh, whoa.
Well, bring it that day. Let's make sure it's not gently used. We want people to go and be thoughtful about who we're giving it to, the impressions that come along with it, and so we're excited about it.
Yeah, come with some new stuff, man. And if you got a little bit of extra, man, just bring it up there. People need pens, bags.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Even electronical equipment. If you guys have a hookup on that, you got a little extra bread. People need some iPads, whatever.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
I'm excited.
All day, man. You guys keep it right here. But E.T. says, let's go. I interviewed the sheriff.
Hey, man, no, I got interviewed by E.T. Yeah, that's the way you got to look at that.
Conversation.
See?